Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for April 5th through the 11th, 2021. So before we get into the reading, I'd just like to welcome everyone who is new to our channel and this community on YouTube. And just like to make you aware of a few things before we get into the reading. So first of all, I'd like to invite anyone who is looking for an angel reading with me, and my special offer for $77 for my half-hour reading is being extended for 1 full hour and has been so since the pandemic. So you could go to my webpage, theangelschool.com/services. That link is below in the description area. And you would just select the half-hour reading as is. And within 24 hours on the first business day, you would receive a confirmation email indicating the special offer for 1 full hour. And it will also include instructions about how to submit your availability within that email so that we can set up an appointment for you. And there are no restrictions or limitations on this reading, so if you've had it before, it's just there to sort of offset the circumstances of the pandemic and that the financial impact it may be having on some of us. So feel free to use this. And the other thing that I wanted to say to you last week, and I couldn't remember during the video, is I wanted to thank everyone for the birthday wishes for my 50th birthday, which was on March 17th. I really appreciate it. There was a lot going on, as I mentioned last week, and I think there's just been a lot going on for a lot of us, and it's been really challenging. And so I didn't mean to forget to say thank you, but it escaped my mind and I couldn't recall it throughout the entire video. So thank you very, very much for what you said and for the love that you sent. It was felt immensely. All right, and so now what I'm going to do is begin, and this sort of unfolds where the first part is sort of meditation, sometimes just this information that we all need for our souls. And then about halfway through, I go into the cards and to get more information for the week as well. So just close your eyes at this moment and allow yourself to just let go of everything that's on your mind. And they're even saying just to let go of reality as you understand it or need to understand it or have understood it. And to let go, right in the word explain, it's like you are looking for explanations for things that no longer truly exists. And Archangel Michael is coming through, and he wants to give you the courage to stand in your power. And he wrote the word lessons, to stand in your power and to meet and to know that you have all the resources within you to meet the challenges of the lessons that you're experiencing right now. These are the important lessons that your soul established for you. It is a part of your divine blueprint. And these are the lessons that will allow you to fully embody your ascension process. You're on a whirlwind of enormous transformation. And they're writing yes. And though you are going to be kicking and screaming all the way, it is the most rewarding, it will be the most rewarding experience for you. So don't worry that you're going to get it wrong, or that you might be doing something wrong as you go along the way. Don't beat up on yourself. Don't do that. And that is harping back to the fact that you're looking for explanations for something that is brand new. Your ego is doing that. Your ego is wanting to understand, what are you doing? Where are we going? But they're writing the word cafe, which is my symbol word for a network. You're going to be invited to experience a whole new network of interactions, experiences, and opportunities. So just know that this period where you feel like you're free falling and you're looking for all kinds of explanations and you're trying to make sense of it all, know that that is the signal, the sign that you're doing it right, that everything is happening as it should, because you can't fall into place. You can't find your way from the road that you were on. That paradigm doesn't connect to the new paradigm. You had to be like the fool, you had to jump. And it's sort of like the experience of the tower, where it throws everything up. Your ego will perceive it as blowing everything up, but your higher self sees it as a liberation, an opportunity to liberate you. And what happens as the pieces fall, scatter, they fall into that new pattern, but at a whole new level of experience. So you need to I found myself this morning, and this is just a new awareness, and I guess it's the best way for me to explain it to you, since I'm just on the cusp of all of this with you. But I had this thought, like I have many things to get done, and as I explained last week, I was going to be behind on some things, like with the monthly angel scope. So I haven't gotten to that yet because of the things that I was dealing with here in my home. And so the thing is that you start to panic, or you start to worry, or start to get frustrated with you, like, why aren't you doing this? Well, how come you can't? And so something just gently said to me to not worry, but instead, in a sense, focus on, enjoy what you have to do. Now, this is not exactly the way it came in my mind, and that's because it's so new, and even my ego is fighting the the clarity of that understanding. But what I felt it cannot remove is that sense of, why am I doing that when I can just totally embrace everything that I have to do and trust that it will get done, because these are things that I enjoy. These are things that are fulfilling to me. And we have a tendency to forget that the things that are on our plate are really the things that we summoned and that we love and that inspire us. They give us purpose, even though some of them challenge us. And every one of these readings that I write or that I speak, they challenge me. Every one that I do with a client challenges me, because new information, new awareness is expanded. And sometimes it feels like, oh boy, I got to keep up with this, So, and it's a wonderful kind of having to keep up. It's I don't know, it's like almost like if in a fairy tale you see this wonderful mystical creature, and it's just, flying and fleeing, here and there, and you want to keep up in your imagination with it, but you remember sometimes that you're in this physical body and it can't maybe fly with that magical being, that mystical being. And so it's that kind of envy and enthusiasm and inspiration. You just want to keep up. So, but we get bogged down in our criticism and our negativity and our complaining and our need for explanations when opportunities are just happening. And that is not the time for them. When opportunities presents itself, it's a time to receive rewards, to experience them, and to make them happen. And so why complain? Why feel anxious? Why waste? This is wasted energy. And I know that these are things that for some people are chronic, and so I don't want to make light of that. And anything that I'm saying to you now, or the writings that I've already started for the week, but from your higher self, we have to understand that this is how we can tell when we're losing energy versus, and it indicates that we need to just shift the way we're thinking and instead, engage yourself in the activity with as much capacity of love and joy and pleasure that you can allow yourself to experience. So really, really important for us to understand what's unfolding within us, and that your angels are with you, your guardian angel. Don't forget to talk to your guardian angel. Your guardian angel has your divine blueprint. It reads it off to you like every morning, like an assistant. Okay, all through the day, it's reminding you of your divine blueprint. And it's worries that you're feeling some of those influences where you all of a sudden feel inspired. Because I believe the voice of God is inspiration. And if you doubt how to hear the voice of God and the messages that he sends through his angels, which are the messengers of God, so they're like his carriers, postal carriers of the messages, and your guardian angels always standing right next to you as sort of that direct link to God. And all you need to follow, instead of worrying and feeling all those other things, note when you're feeling them, it's like that, like the static in the television. I don't know if televisions do that anymore, but that means that you've lost the connection to the channel. So the anxiety, the frustration, the irritation, the worry, all of that is a disconnection from the channel of your alignment with the voice of God as inspiration, and your guardian angel and other angels who are there to present every message of peace, of hope, of prosperity, of success, abundance, love that you need. And there's like an angel for everything, just known by these sort of attributes. You can call on an angel for any attribute that you need, love, and that angel of love will be there. And then be translating the high frequency of God's message, which is in a light language that's so high in frequency that you can only really perceive it as it stepped down as inspiration. And so you have to really see, it's like picking up the phone. It's either inspiration or fear. So you have to decide, you have to use these signals. So, you may suffer with something like anxiety or other things. Use that to help you to know which phone line you're using. And so that you can switch in your head to wanting to be receptive to inspiration. And maybe that when you breathe or meditate, you just sit and relax, or you do something that helps to facilitate your connection to inspiration. So you got to figure out how to dial in. It's easy to pick up the phone, but you got to figure out for you how to dial into inspiration when your ego is so prevalent in helping you to really make it easy for you to go into that rabbit hole of negativity. It's just like, it just feels like it getting sucked right in. But it's as easy to connect in to God. It is not difficult. But it's these ideas that we have and they're all presented by your ego, by the way, who is not evil, but just afraid. It is fear that causes humanity to do things that we call evil. But no soul is evil, because every soul is an extension, an individuation of God or the divine source itself. So that none of us has the power to change. We do not have the power to rewrite the code of the Creator, who is the codifier of all codes. We're not that powerful. So when we spend time giving power to evil actions with our fear rather than our proactive approach to handling them, and the proactive approach is compassion. Because if you don't offer this, you cannot offer the healing, the instrument of healing that each soul needs to help them to realign and to recalibrate to their divine blueprint. So your compassion is not just some airy-fairy thing. It is a soul technology. It is like a firewall or a debugger or one of these things. When a code has gone wrong, compassion is the spiritual code technology to fix that code. Because it is something has gone awry in the psychology of the personality that has allowed them to internalize their fear into some intense action that you and I call evil. But we have to if we're going to call something, we have to know what we're calling, but never call the person this, because if you do, you undermine your faith in God, because now you believe that this is more powerful than than God or source or whatever you call it. You believe now that we have the ability to change the code on the main server, you want to call it source. And none of us has the power to do that, because we are not source, but we are extensions of it. We're emanations of it. But no one, this is why people worry about people putting hexes and things. This is not possible. Your belief is what allows the code to run on your individual server. That's how you break the firewall, the impenetrable firewall. But even then, it's only on your line, not on the main server source, which you are still, your original codes and blueprints exist on the main server, which means nothing can ever recodify who you are as a spiritual divine being. It can only happen on this three-dimensional server, which is not as powerful as that 12th dimensional server. So it's like having that's like the with the new computers that they're coming out now with the quantum, you know what I'm talking about. We've been seeing it all but they call them the quantum computers now. So like God is like, and that level is like quantum computer, and we're still operating here on whatever this is that we're using now. I'm not that knowledgeable, but you get my point, okay? And so it's really important for you to understand, bringing it back to where we were, that to not let yourself let things blow out of proportion, but to understand that the negative emotions can just let us know, because where are we right now in our mind? We're trying to create and manifest. We're trying to expand our lives, and we're trying to bring abundance into our lives. We're trying to bring love into our lives. These are the things that are just really important to us, and we want to be happy. We want to bring this all into our lives. And this, what I just explained, is the reason why we can't, because we take personally our negativity, instead of reading it just as a code, someone who writes codes and they go, oh, this needs to be fixed, or I just need to be aware of this. So for you, in listening to your divine blueprint that comes to you through the voice of God, through your guardian angel as inspiration, all the other information, whether you perceive it as negative or however you do that, is then just indicating that you are somehow cutting yourself off from that because of the way that you're focusing and perceiving something. Okay, let's move into the message from the Archangel, and it's Zadkiel. Now, Archangel Zadkiel, it's interesting because this color, magenta, is the color of your soul star chakra, which is above your head, above your crown chakra, and there's your causal chakra that's in between your soul star and your crown chakra. And so this card is titled, so this is the soul star chakra, is where all of your soul's wisdom for all your lifetimes, your ancestral healing, all these things are aligned with this chakra. And so, but this card is titled Clairaudience. So it's about hearing the messages, okay, that come to you. And, it's a tricky thing, because I rarely, I've only heard a voice outside of my ear, like if I have overslept and the voice wakes me up. The way I hear normally is if it's sort of like you hear these ideas or thoughts in your words in your mind, but it's your own voice, but it's inspired in a way. Okay, I don't really hear a sound, but it doesn't feel foreign, and that's why I'm just calling it in my own voice in a way, but it's inspired. Okay, and so pay attention to this for yourself in this week. Pay attention to this when, it's interesting. Like I met someone this week via phone. It was a reference for reference for someone, and I was just checking in with the reference and had the most amazing connection with that reference. We were both inspired. And so those kind of interactions are blessings. Now, they may not always be what you expect, but you have to be in this spiritual, intuitive awareness. You have to be really open, 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 open. You know, when they say receive, they don't mean receive what you're expecting. They mean receive whatever gifts are coming out of something. And that is why going back to what I was saying at the beginning, that's why we find it very challenging to be in that unknown space, because we're looking for connections to things that we know already. And we're shifting paradigms. We're going through an ascension process, and it's a new level of vibration, of frequency, and they offer whole new levels of experiences. They offer to you a whole new level of understanding and perception. And so you don't want for everything to be familiar to you. You want it to be fresh so that you can see yourself in a whole new way and others. All right. I feel like I'm forgetting that point I was in there, but I'll trust that everything that's said that needed to be said. Okay, but yes, just pay attention to the interactions and the people that come into your life, and pay attention to this voice of inspiration. I think that's really how Archangel Zadkiel is just, and with this card's message, it's just sort of amplifying that for us. All right, let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. Interesting. So I feel that this is the King of Earth, the King of Pentacles. So this is giving us a sense that we are going to really be inspired in some way to, in terms of our plans and our goals, that it really says that you're working on some things that you're trying to manifest, that you're at this mastery level, all right, that you're working on this mastery level. And you may not feel that way, but the challenges and the lessons that are coming into your life at this time, they're helping you to master issues around embracing the abundance of life itself. And one of the ways to embrace the abundance of life itself is, instead of worrying and being frantic about the opportunities, rather seize them with all of your pleasure and joy. Note that they would not be in your life if you were not fully deserving and capable of rising to the challenges of the occasion. And listen less to your fears and more to the messages and of inspiration that comes with a certain excitement and enthusiasm. This is what you need. This is where you need to focus all of your attention, not on the other, your doubts. And we have the Death card that's been coming up a lot since we've been using this deck. And this is about that all of this is coming with, enormous change. And of course, in the death experience, there is this letting go and then embracing what's the new, right? So they just wrote the word diffuse. And I feel like that, part of your work and the challenge for you is figuring out how to diffuse your fears, to they're writing recycle, like you keep wanting to recycle a thing. People, what we're experiencing right now is we're seeing our cycles, like the stuff you heard me say this last week, the stuff that you've been dealing with since adulthood and probably started somewhere in your childhood, but really just has been that thing since you've been independent. That cycle is done. It's like ready. You are ready to be done with this. You've just been holding on to it. You keep, you have enough experience in this lifetime to know what is the right action to take, because you kept making the same choice and getting the same results that for you are unfavorable. And for some reason, it's just hard to let it go, to make a different decision. And you keep following this false hope. And you know it's false because you've seen it over and over again. But you're afraid to listen to that inspired idea, that inspired promise, hope, because you feel that, maybe it's not possible. You feel within yourself, you fear within yourself that you're not capable of making that change or adjusting in some way. So here it looks like the Death card is just challenging your mastery. And just because it looks like you have failed at something, this is not true. This is what they're trying to say. This is why this Death card is facing the King of Earth as one who has mastered, everything about the Earth element. And the reason that it's facing this looks like a challenge, is what they keep saying in my head, is because you think that all you've gathered is failure with this particular issue that you've been cycling, and that you keep recycling. You don't want to pass this test. You are not allowing yourself to pass the test. You've had all the information. You know exactly what's going to happen. Like if it's a relationship dynamic, meaning every guy you meet is the same, or every woman you meet is the same thing, right? You see it, you know it, you've done it before, it's going to happen. It's going to turn out that way. Even though the false hope, they seem like, they're a little bit more open, they're going to be different, but the signals are there, you feel them. And the thing is, there's nothing wrong with you or them. It's just that you are afraid to do this differently. You're afraid to do it by the playbook of your heart. You keep listening to the playbook of your ego, of your fear. And because you feel that you failed, you feel that you are not a master. So this card probably is bothering you. And you're probably sitting there, inside your head screaming at me right now for saying that to you. But failure, there is no such thing. That's your perception. Your ego perceived it, but you gained enormous wisdom and know-how. You know exactly what's going on, and you know exactly what to do. But you just are afraid to deploy your arsenal of wisdom. Okay? And you're going to be constantly challenged by this energy until you do. All right? This all is an illusion. If, all this stuff that looks sort of scary, blah, 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 that's the illusion. That's what your fear is creating around death or change. That's all that around that angel and that soul, see the gentleness of the soul, you can imagine as it's rising, it's a gentle process. But all of this down here, that's our ego. That is the illusions that might look like the comfortable home that you have. All of it's an illusion, because the only thing that's real is change. And that change process is always inspired through you, so that it's your choice how you change, in which direction you go. So see, what is the anxiety or the worry all about? If that's the truth, see, then you got to look and say, oh, I'm just fighting. All right, so the card for the end of the week is the Eight of Pentacles, or the Eight of Earth. And here what you see is, and this is my answer to inspiration. When God speaks, the way we channel it is through creativity. And this is where you really need to focus. This is where you really need to focus. You need to express what's in your heart through any medium that is appropriate to the circumstance or the situation. That's where you need to focus. That's where you need to pour your energy. Now you're going to have to go back and listen to that phrase, because that just came out and I don't even know what I just said. But you apply that. This is how you move through. Here you know, but you won't accept your mastery. And you go through this process of dying unto yourself, unto the illusions, your fears, as they just loom around you, and try to eclipse this very beautiful process, this gentle, soft, loving process between you and God. The angel is a representative of God. It's pure love and gentleness. But your focus elsewhere makes it seem bumpy and hard. And so the way to help you to digest this, and to diffuse this energy that you interpret as anxiety and all these things, you have to focus on channeling it through a medium of creativity appropriate to the dynamics of the situation. So listen to the voice of inspiration. And the card that I've pulled from the bottom of the deck already, this is the Lover's card. And this just really speaks on a spiritual level of an integration within yourself, balance. It speaks to something that's healthy, because it's balance, right? So when we're on the same page, when we find alignment, we are vibrating in a healthy way, which means we're going to attract healthy experiences. So if you're looking for anything, the thing is to find the right balance within yourself, to be harmonious with it. And this is where you can call your guardian angel to align you with your divine blueprint. Just surround yourself with golden energy, or the Christ energy, and through your chakras, and you will align yourself with the angelic realm. And then tune in to your guardian angel, and try to maintain that relationship all day long. I mean, the connection is there. So it's about you, just reinforcing it with attention. And pay attention to the insights, inspiration, insight, any of these words. Pay attention to how they fall upon your ear, your heart, your mind, through your hands and your feet. Pay attention to how they manifest as opportunities around you. opportunity, the possibility of those opportunities. Pay attention. Okay? And this is also saying that in doing this, the two telephone lines, fear versus inspiration, this is how you this is how you cultivate loving yourself. This is how you cultivate an energy of a frequency of consolidation, compassion, and love that attracts to you people of like hearts, whether it is for business, for romance, or any other relationship in your life. This is how you bring it together, by first bringing it together for you and, finding the right practice. Focus on the things that matter, that help you, that heal, that recode. Because when we have these other things, it means a code is off and we need to recode. And we can only do that by practicing the healthy habits. Okay? So it's interesting. I was seeing Archangel before I started, Archangel Raphael, which I think of him with this particular card. Archangel Azrael was also coming through as well. And we have the Archangel Zadkiel. So you can work with an Archangel Michael. So you can work with Archangel Michael this week, Zadkiel, Raphael, and Azrael. So I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and have an enormously beautiful week. Focus on the inspiration. God bless you.